So till now what we have done, we are finished with the interaction of food and microbes. Actually, last class we are done with the shigellosis also, no? May I know who is CR of this class?
Yes, ma'am. Priyanka.
Priyanka, Priyanka, so we are done with shigellosis also, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So just this chapter is left now. So food preservation. So we are till now we are done with the food microbe interaction. What are the different factors which are going to affect the microbial growth in the food? How the factors present in the food are favoring the growth of microbes? How the factors are not favoring the growth of microbes? What are the different food infections? What are the different foodborne illnesses? What is food intoxications? And specifically some of the diseases also in this respect. So all these things we have seen earlier. Now, after once we all are aware that the infection is there. Now there is a very important thing that we get to know. We need to know that how we can preserve the food. We cannot leave this food like that only, that it can come and we need to study only. We need to know the preservation also. What is preservation? How can we preserve the food from the microbial attack? Now, earlier also we have seen that there are not only microbe, so many other factors are also there, like physical factors are also there, chemical factors are also there. So those things, how they are damaging the food, spoiling the food, and how these can be the food can be preserved from these factors. So from the harvest, starting from the harvest means from the fields from where the food is coming, and throughout the process of food processing, packaging, until the time it is coming to us, it takes a long time. So many things are involved here, so many processes are involved here. So we need to know that and it is very much required for the preservation part to be considered. Okay, so for the preservation part, firstly we need to know what is food preservation. Then what are the different measures which we can take for the preservation of food? So now we will start our topic. So firstly we will see the definition of the food preservation. Food preservation, again, it is a process like preservation. Preserve means to preserve something, okay, to preserve it, to safeguard it. Yeah. So now here we are talking about the food. So it is the safeguarding of the food. Now it is it can be defined as a process of treating and handling the food in such a way, the treatment of a food in such a way to stop or slow down the spoilage. Both the things are involved here. It will stop the food spoilage instantly, or it will delay, it will slow down. Okay, because slowing down means if anything is there.
It's all clear, ma'am.
Okay. So, because some, like on the basis of the spoilage, earlier also we have seen when we were taking our food infection topic, then only we have seen that on the basis of the spoilage we have defined the food into three categories. First was perishable, in which the milk products were there. Second was semi-perishable, and third was the non-perishable. Okay, so like this earlier also we have seen this. So if we are delaying the this spoilage, that also is there in the food preservation, and if we are stopping or inhibiting the growth. But one thing is very important: with this whole procedure we need to maintain the nutritional value, texture, and the flavors of the food, because it should not be like only the preservation is there and we are leaving these factors. No, we need to do both the things. Firstly preservation, and second is the maintenance of these nutritional value, texture, and flavors. Okay, so this is the definition and the general introduction. One more thing is there, that is again the retaining the food. Why? What is food preservation? In this we are retaining the food. over a long period of time without being contaminated by the pathogenic organisms, chemicals, and without losing its color, texture, flavor, and nutritional value. Now, what is the requirement of the preservation? So that it can stop, it can be safeguarded. Secondly, seasonal availability of the food should be there, because everything is not coming in the all the season, throughout the season. Okay, so the things which are not present available in that season, if it is kept preserved, they can be used in that other time also. Okay, so first is the seasonal availability. Second is the different type of food at different location. Yes, like different regions of, in case if you we talk about our country only. So from north to south, south to north, east to west, west to east, all these things, if we want to get it available at the different location, we need to keep it preserved, because the whole process will take time for the harvesting, processing, packaging, and transportation. So this time, if the food is preserved, then it can be accessible from the other location also. Okay. Now this is again the advantage that we have seen, that this increase the shelf life of food, retain the quality of food, increase the food supply, adds variety to the food, and decrease the wastage of food. Now, there are certain principles of the food preservation, means some points are there considering which the different techniques of the preservation have been adopted. So what are those principles? There are three principles, like first is the prevention or delay of microbial decomposition. Okay. Second is prevention or delay of self-decomposition of food. And third is prevention of damage because of insects and animals. So these are the three principles of the food preservation. Now, earlier we have discussed this, that there are three types of different type of spoilage, like microbial spoilage, enzymatic spoilage, chemical spoilage, and physical spoilage. Okay, so these are the things which can deteriorate food, and because of these we need the food preservation. Now, what are the different varieties of techniques which we adopt for the food preservation? Okay, so there are these are the 9 techniques which we are adding, which we are using for the preservation of the food. First is asepsis. We will see here in the detail. Asepsis, as the name indicate, when the asepsis means, that is the avoiding or minimizing the microbial load. Okay, so this load, like if you consider, if you just imagine the things which are coming to our home only, in household only, we can take an example. If we are getting something from the market, what we can do, we need to clean it, we need to do, so why we are doing it? This is asepsis. Here we are decreasing the microbial load. Okay, so this is also one of the ways. So like this was a very simple example. So like this, through the process of whole food formation, on the industrial scale, everything is all the processes are taking the consideration for the decreasing the or the lowering of the microbial load. So how it can be done? Like in the dairy industry. Okay, if you take the example, milk, again we know that it is a very perishable food, because it gets spoiled very early. So like here also, dairy industry, the initial contamination can be avoided. How it can be avoided? It can be avoided by the good hygiene practices, and this can be during milking, transport, and distribution. Okay, in canning industry also, it can be reduced by proper heat processing and followed by the sealing. If this thing is there, means if proper heat of the food is it is properly done, and after that it is properly sealed, then very much chances of the contamination will be minimized there only. So this will come under asepsis. Then the meat packing industry, again, if in this also, again it will be handling, processing, slaughter, all these things. Here we can reduce the load, and that will improve the keeping quality of the meat and meat products. Okay, and one more thing, like there are some food which are fermentation products. So in these things, the controlled fermentation should be there. Okay, it should not be exceed in terms of any microbe terms or in the terms of temperature or pressure, neither exceed nor it should be lowered. Okay, so the controlled fermentation should be there for the fermented food. So by these things we can decrease the load of microbes, and this will come under asepsis. Okay, Priyanka, is it okay till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can see the removal of microorganism.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next process after asepsis, we come to the removal of microorganism. It can be done by the filtration, centrifugation, washing, trimming. All these things will come when we can directly or in the small scale or in the large scale we can do it. We can remove the microbes. How we can remove the microbes? Like if you have got any rotten fruit, and it is not completely rotten, okay, so it's a big fruit. If you want to cut that part which has started spoilage, okay, so that what we are doing, we are removing that part, and this is also one type of the removal of the this microbe. Okay, so like this, and filtration, or like in many fruit juices, beer, soft drink, wine and water, when these things are produced on the industrial basis, they are getting so many filtration, and before the start of the step, washing is there. So all these things are, again, we are removing the microbes before the processing. Okay, so this is also one of the type of preservation technique. Okay. Modification of the environment, yes, this is also very important. Like environment means the surroundings in which now here we are talking about the food, so it will be in respect of food only. So microbial spoilage and degradation of food, it can be done by this can be reduced by the modification of the environment. So three different procedures are there for to modify the atmosphere surrounding, like vacuum packing, modified reduced atmosphere packing, and controlled atmosphere. Okay, so vacuum packing, this can be here, it will be reduced. So vacuum packing, modified atmosphere, and controlled atmosphere. So these are the three things. Like vacuum packing, we all know when we are taking out the air from the packing, then it will delay the process. Okay. Then modified atmosphere, in this like canning and many other procedures, what we are doing here, we will provide some carbon dioxide before the packing. So that will also one of the modified atmosphere. Again, the controlled atmosphere here also. Now if you will see the pictures, then you can correlate it. This is the vacuum packing. Here you can see the air is evacuated. Here again this is modified atmosphere packing, and this is the controlled atmosphere packing. So these are the three types of packing by which we can modify the environment, and we can reduce or slow down or stop the growth of microbes. Now come to the high temperature. High temperature, we all know that the high temperature is going to prevent the growth of the microbes, inhibit the growth of microbes. So this is also one of the important technique which is which is getting adopted for the process of the food preservation. So the use of high temperature to preserve food is based on the destructive effect of the microorganism. So what this high temperature, what this heat is doing with the microbes, it is destructing, it is denaturation of the protein, and so the inactivation of the enzyme. Okay, so what this high temperature is doing, it is denaturing the protein, inactivating the enzyme, microbial enzyme. So the microbial activity will be reduced, and they will grow, metabolism will slow down, or they will be killed. Okay, so by this the high temperature can be used for as a preservation technique. So now when we see that use of high temperature is there, we need to know the two terms, that is thermal death time and thermal death point. So the thermal death time, it is the time necessary to kill a given number of organisms at a specific temperature, and thermal death point, it is a temperature, okay, that is needed to kill a given number of organisms. So this is how you are going to see how the high temperature can be used for the food preservation, because it will denature the protein, it will inactivate the enzyme, so the microbial growth will be diminished or it will be inhibited and the preservation will be there. So we all have seen here earlier also, you must have heard about the pasteurization. So pasteurization is again a heat treatment. Again, it is of three types: HTST, LHT and UHT. Okay, for this here pasteurization of dairy products, it is very, you all must be known, and fruit juices, beer and vinegar. Okay, and there is one more controlled temperature treatment is appertization. Okay, so that is also there when it is stored at the ambient temperature. Okay, so this is also one of the process of the heat process in which you are destroying the microorganism in the food. So pasteurization and appertization, these are the two processes for the heat treatment. Now this was all about the high temperature treatment. Okay, how the use of high temperature, how the use of high temperature is going to denature the proteins and inactivate the enzymes of microbes. So by this they are going to delay, they are going to inhibit the microbial growth, and it will be a part of technique of the food preservation. Now after the high temperature we will go for the how the use of low temperature will work. Okay, so use of temperature, low temperature slide is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
So how the use of low temperature it is going to affect the microbial growth. Okay, so like high temperature, it is going to denature protein, it is going to inactivate the enzymatic activity. Like here also there should be some mechanism. So what they are doing, low temperature will lower the rate of growth. Okay, so it will, on the basis of the treatment which we are giving, the growth will be reduced. Okay, so when the microbial growth is reduced, so it will work as a food preservation method. Now it is again of two types. One is the chill storage and second is the freeze storage. So chill storage is again the chilling storage, in this that generally refrigeration. Okay, it is below 8 degree, and freeze storage is less than 18, less than 20 degree. Okay, so here again these are the two forms of the low temperature used for the food preservation. Now what they are doing here, they are reducing the water activity, they are removing the water in form of ice, and that way they will help in reducing the microbial activity. Okay. Okay, so after the high temperature and low temperature, next method is the drying. Drying, as the name indicates, drying means if you are drying something means you are taking out water from this. Okay, so water is removed. Now when the water is removed, what will be there? There will not be any moisture content, and water is very much necessary for all the cells to survive. Okay, so like that we can very easily understand that if the water is not there, if the any substance is dry, then attack from the microbes will not be much. Okay, so if we are drying the food article, then it will not support the growth of microbes. So drying or water removal, what is there? Preservation is this is practiced for centuries. In our households also you have seen, like if we need to keep the things for longer duration, like red chilies or anything, like so many things in the household you can see, like those things, if you want to keep it for longer duration, so you need to keep it for the sunlight for some time. Okay, that is also one of the drying process. Okay, in this we are removing some content of water in presence of sunlight. And why we are doing, if we keep the things like that only for storage, it can spoil very easily. But if we have dried it, then it can be kept for the longer duration. So what is this? Now drying reduce the available water in the food commodity. Okay, drying inhibit the growth of bacteria, yeast and molds through the removal of water. There are many methods firstly, like sun drying. Here you can just see this is a, like it's a panel, solar panel type it is there, but and on this you can keep the articles. Like one of the very good example for the sun dried product is this cherry tomato. If you keep the slices of the cherry tomatoes, small tomatoes, and then keep the slices in the sun for the sun drying, after some time what will happen, the water content will not be there, it will be dried. Okay, it will depend on the temperature also, like it is only possible for the in the dry regions of the, I mean in, like you say, for our country. So in the dry region only it is possible when the proper sunlight is there. Okay, for this you need a full sunlight. So on the basis of the temperature, how much treatment is required, that you can see how much content is left. So like if you, the cherry tomato you have taken and you have sliced it and you kept it for the sunlight, you can see after some time the moisture will not be there, and they will be dried, and then you can keep it for the storage for longer duration. And just compare the cherry tomato which you have taken fresh, and if you cut those and if you want to keep it for some time only, it will get spoiled. So now you can very much correlate that it is one of the very interesting technique for the preservation. Now, water removal. In this drying, it is done with the help of sun because it need only high temperature. Naturally, it is done by the sun drying, but if the sun drying is not there, if the content is very much commodity, food commodities on very large scale, like in the industrial scale, what you need to do, you need to provide some equipment for this process. Okay, so like for this you go for the electrical heat dryer. Okay, so these electrical heat dryer, they are used on the industrial food dehydration level. Okay, so like here you can see these are the these are electrical dehydrators. What they are doing, they are just like you can consider like the room heater, what is there, or your OTG, like any oven or whatever is there, there is one electric rod is there. Okay, that coil is there, that coil get heated, and then it will, the temperature of that area will be high, and when the temperature is increased, whatever is there in that area, like if it is a closed compartment, like you can see, so those dehydrator will work on those, on these trays, the food substances are kept, and for, and in the like thin slices we have kept for this uh, sun drying. Like this only we will keep in the proper fashion, proper manner, and after certain temperature treatment, whatever the standards are there, that will be dried. So here also this is one of the method for removal of water. So sun drying and electrical heat drying. After that there is one more drying, freeze drying. So freeze drying is also there, that is cryodesiccation. It is low temperature dehydration. This is also done on the industrial scale. Okay. So three types of drying we have seen: sun drying, electrical dryer, and electrical heat dryer and freeze drying. So these are the three techniques of drying for removal of water from the cell to reduce the microbial activity, from the food to reduce microbial activity. Now, after water removal, we will decrease the water availability. Water availability, we have seen, it is denoted by AW. So this term we have seen while we were studying from the, for the introduction, how the, what are the different favorable factors for the microbial growth. Okay, Priyanka, is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Decreased water availability is there in front of you, your
Yes,
slide.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So AW is the notion for water availability. So this water availability, the food material in which AW is more, there is more chances of microbial growth. Like if you compare a fruit and a grain, so AW is very less in grain, but it is very much in food. So you can very directly, you can correlate how, in which article the more microbial growth will be there. So if we reduce the water activity in the food, we can very easily reduce the atmosphere for the microbe to survive there. Okay. So decrease water activity. Again, water is one of the important factor in controlling the rate of deterioration of the food by microbial. Water activity is used for the preservation of the food and stabilization of food supply. Again, how we are going to do this? This water activity, and what this water activity is doing, this decrease in activity increase the lag phase of microorganism and decrease the growth rate. Okay, so this is the mechanism how it is working there. And what are the different processes to decrease water activity? Dehydration, crystallization, and addition of the sucrose. So once the water activity is reduced, the chances of microbial growth will also be reduced. Now next, chemical preservative. Okay. So just consider any of the example, like just see a bottle of jam which we take every day. How like mixed fruit jam. Just imagine so many fruits are there in that jam, but when the time of its manufacture, it took a long process. Okay, from the harvesting to its manufacture to its packaging, then to the transportation, and then to reach to us. So this is a very long process. So for that preservation, we have added something. Some preservatives have been added in those bottles or these type of foods, so that it can be kept for the longer duration to increase their life. So these are called chemical preservative. They come under the category of chemical preservative, and under these are the food additives. They also involve so many variety of the preservatives that we will see in the next slides. So if you see the preservative, what is the definition? A food additive is a substance or a mixture of substance other than basic foodstuff which is present in a food as a result of any aspect of food of production, processing, storage, or packaging. So during any of these processes, these are added and they will be present in that food when we are consuming it. Okay. What are their roles? These preservatives may inhibit the microorganism by interfering their cell membrane, their enzymatic activity, and their genetic mechanism. So these are the three mechanisms, three interferences which these preservatives are doing, and they are inhibiting the microbial growth. Okay. So cell membrane interference, enzymatic activity interference, and genetic mechanism. So by this, the chemical preservative will be active. Now there are some factors also that influence the effectiveness of the chemical preservative. Firstly, as we all know, the concentration of the chemical, kind, age, number, and previous history of organism, temperature at which it is done, time, and the chemical and physical characteristics of the substance in which the organism is found, means the food item, its pH, its moisture, its all these physical uh, qualities or characteristics. Okay, so these are the different factors which influence the effectiveness of chemical preservative. Okay, now effectiveness you can consider, like if you just take 2 bottles of any of the pickle or any of the jam, just consider a jam only. It's a very simple for everyone to understand. If you kept it, if you have taken purchased 2 bottles of jam, in both the bottles they are processed same. Okay, preservative content, everything is same. Okay, now apart from that also, I mean, if you see, so many things are there. How the effectiveness of the preservative, how we can check? Because if the temperature at which we are keeping it, if again we are not preserving it in the proper condition, then also after addition of the preservatives also, there are the chances of food spoilage. It's like so much preservative is there in the food, but if you are not keeping it properly, if you have left it, I mean, like that, without refrigeration or without in normal conditions or favorable condition for the microbe, again for some time it will be there, sometime it will be preserved, but after some time, if you are opening it, if external factors are provided to that also, like mishandling it, so then hygiene is not maintained, then also again it can get contaminated. So after so many things we are using for the food preservation, then also we need to be very careful while, and especially when we are using it in our houses. Okay. So now we will see what are the different chemical food preservative and how we are going for the this type of preservation. First example is the salting. Salting, again as the name indicates, salt means addition of the salt, and salt is what? Sodium chloride. Okay. So this is a very important and a very old traditional technique for the preservation. In this we are adding the salt. Okay. This salt we can add directly, like in the pickles, like here you can see with this picture you can see directly the sliced lemon, it was added the salt. Okay. And one more thing is there, like you have seen the, I will just show you that. In the very first slide, there were two pictures actually. Yeah, in this. Here. Can you see this picture? So these are also the can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
So like this only in the bottles now you can see just so many things are there nowadays, like that yeah, in this bottle you can see, yeah, here like olives and many of the products like this which are coming in the bottles, like how they are there, how, what are the different thing what we have kept for the preservation in this. Why I'm telling it, because this is direct, we are adding the salt here. Okay, so this is salting, and for in the bottles we are using brine solution, that is called as pickled vegetable. So many pickled vegetables, how they are getting preserved? They are preserved with the help of this brine, and this brine is again the solution of NaCl, salt only. Okay, of this concentration. So this will come under the salting. Now sugaring, again these type of candies you can see, this is again one of the preservation technique in which the sugar concentration should be more than 65%. Now if you come to smoking, smoking is again one of the important technique for the preservation. In this, what is there? Smoke is covering the area and it is preserved the food by surface drying. Okay. Now spices, there are certain spices, they are like sage, it exhibits the antioxidant and antimicrobial properties. So what it is doing, being an antioxidant, it is delaying the, prolonging the process of oxidation. Okay, so the chances of the contamination will be less there, or it will be the it will delay, the contamination will be delayed, means the life of the food will be increased. Now acids, we all have seen for pickle preparation and for so many other things we are providing the vinegar. Okay, acetic acid, citric acid, ascorbic acids, these are the things, again these are the acids which are using for the preservation. Again malic acid, tartaric acid, citric acid, these are again using for the fruit sugar, preserves, jams, jellies and many other things like this. Okay, like citric acid is again in the carbonated drinks. So these things what they are doing, they are again using as a preservative, inhibiting the growth of bacteria, molds and yeast in that food article. Now again the benzoic acid, it is again one of the most common food preservative, and it is again added in the juices and syrups. Sorbic acid, it is used in the form of sorbate, salts, potassium sorbate, like here it is there, this is the potassium sorbate, and these are the example of the food in which this fruit juices, pickles, sauerkraut and all these things, these are the preservatives. There is one term sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is what, this is the cabbage, when finely chopped cabbage, and it is a fermented also, it is kept for longer duration like 15-20 days. Then what will happen, so many bacteria and good bacteria will be generated in that, and then afterwards it can be consumed. It is a very good this all the good bacteria are present in this. Okay, so it can be used as a probiotic also, and it is, but after some time preservation is also required, like something you can do at home, but if you are getting it commercially, then in those sauerkraut, the commercially available products, these sorbates will be there, and that is again for the preservation. So after this, okay. So apart from the those food preservatives, there are some preservatives. Those are in the gaseous form also, like sulfur dioxide sulfides, and these are also used as a preservative. Okay. Then carbon dioxide. You all must have heard the name of this dry ice. So in this, foods are here you can see. So this is also used for the food preservation, like food, these fruits, and so many things are can get preserved with this carbon dioxide. Again, chlorine is also one of the important gases preservative. So it is again used in the form of chlorine, sodium hypochlorite, hypochlorite, and this calcium hypochlorite and the chlorine dioxide gas. Okay, and this will be used for the washing, transporting, cooling, heat, sterilized can, because the things in which we are making the food, those on industrial scale also, those should also be sterilized. So that is also, if the that is also one of the important step involved in the food preservation. Okay. Again, alcohol and antibiotics, these are the again the food preservatives, and they can be added in the different food substances to prevent the microbial growth. Okay. Now, yes, this is the last slide, I mean last method of the food preservation. Okay, can you see irradiation slide on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So irradiation, like the name indicates, we are using the radiation technique. We are exposing the food to the ionizing radiation. What are these radiation which can be used? These are X-rays, gamma rays, and cathode rays. So these are very effective radiations they are using for the exposure, and they can use as a food preservation technique. Okay. Now here also this X-ray and gamma ray, they have good penetration, but the cathode ray, they have comparatively, they have poor penetration if you compare among these three rays. So ionizing radiation, what it is doing with the microbes, it is bactericidal. Okay. Now it is going to inhibit, it is going to kill the growth of bacteria there directly. Okay. Now there are different factors which will affect this irradiation, that is kind of species of the organism, number of organism, if spores are there or not, then composition of food, that means how much moisture is there, how much what is the physical state of the food, like this. Okay, pH and all these things. Then presence and absence of the oxygen, again the physical state of the food during the irradiation. So these are the things which can affect the irradiation. Okay. Now irradiation can kill bacteria, mold, and insect waste, and reduce the ripening and spoiling of the food, and at high doses it induces the sterility. Okay, so these are the things which this irradiation can do. Now after this we will see what is the mechanism of the action of the irradiation on the organism, how the organisms are affected. So ionizing radiation will kill the microbe by damaging the biomolecule of their cells. Okay, they will damage by all the biomolecule, whatever is there, proteins and all. Now how it is doing? Incoming photon hit the electron in the atoms of the microbe or food molecule. During the collisions, photon energy is transferred to the electron, changing the photon direction. They will free collide with the neighboring, and they can't, cause the bonds breakage, and it will interrupt the cell metabolism and the division. So this is the mechanism by which the irradiation will inhibit the microbial activity. It will kill the microbial cell, that is by damaging the biomolecule of the cell. Now there are certain benefits of the irradiation also, food irradiation, that is the reduced risk of the foodborne disease, reduced sprouting, and less need for the additives. So these are the certain uh, irradiation benefits. So this was all about the irradiation, all about the preservation techniques which we have seen here. Okay. Is it okay with you all?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope everybody has understood now from the beginning how the food can be preserved, how why the microbes are so much involved, why they are so much interested in our food, because they are getting their nutrition also from there. What are the different factors of the food? How they are, that everything we have done, but now we need to understand also how we can keep it preserved from the microbe. So everything, that all those techniques which we can use for the food preservation. What is the definition of food preservation? What are the different mechanisms involved in the different techniques of the food preservation that we have seen in these slides today? Okay, I feel it is clear now. And